Have this full video back. Let me stop there. We started with the audio. I've already started recording the audio for y'all. You'll have my wonderful voice telling you stories all night long, and if we listen or hear for any EVPs, that's electronic voice phenomenon. It's voices we can't hear with the naked ear in real time. I'm not going to plug anything into it. Half the time, I'll be honest, I don't even listen to it because I give you audio markers of things I catch on the spirit box I'm going to be using. So I don't even review it because I give you that much audio markers. And Todd's looking at me like, man, this guy's whacked out, man. What did we sign up for? So, thermal imaging. You guys can all see me in that camera. I'm orange, red, and yellow. Everything around me is blue and black. Take me out of the picture, it's going to fluctuate based on the trees are now orange, red, and yellow instead of being blue and black. Okay, so really what we're looking for here are those blue spots to start moving on their own and become intelligent. Okay, so we're going to be, if something goes across my face and it's blue, we obviously know we have something with us. It does not see in 3 dimensionals the same way that we do. It also will not see through glass. So if we were to peer in these windows that are pretending not covered, we wouldn't be able to see inside the building. It's going to look at that glass as being part of an actual object. So where do I want to throw this guy at? And we're going to work more with you, or I'm going to work more with you on the first location we go to. It's really a practice area. It's haunted, doesn't have a deep history. It's more about you guys get to see more about what your devices are actually going to be capable of. You're already geared up. Todd, I'm going to go with you on this one.
All right.
So it's already recording. Do you see the red square on there?
Yep.
All right, so that means it's recording, so don't hit the red square. Okay. If it turns to a circle, tap it again and just let me know. Now I'll have to splice 2 videos together. And then you'll be the jerk of the group because it takes me longer to get the data back to everybody.
Okay.
No pressure.
Okay.
Your finger is also right over the camera.
Okay,
this one right here. There you go.
Okay.
So the camera is down here.
Okay.
And that way you'll be able to, you're literally going to hold it out horizontal all night long.
Okay.
That's your job.
And
we're going to keep him busy. And also, we want to hear what the skeptic has to say all night. He records audio, just so we all know. All right, spirit boxes. So I, believe it or not, as a raider, I've been characterizing all of you since we just met up, what, 8 minutes ago? So I'm looking for my chatty Cathy, I look for my skeptic, I look for my very quiet person. I need to know who's going to get which type of device. So again, when I'm going through it, I have to like stare at all of you to see who's going to get what. I already know where things are going to go. Spirit boxes. So these are ways for us to communicate with the dead. The really cool thing about this is this spirit box will record the entire session for us. It's not going to record any of us. It's only going to record radio sweeps, which is all this machine is meant to do. It's meant to go through all of the FM or AM radio stations at a very quick pace. If you watch ghost hunting shows, it's that annoying static sound you hear. So I'm seeing nods, so I'm guessing some of you watch the ghost hunting shows. So this one literally is slowed down. It's not going to be just static. You're going to have some radio chatter. That's what we want. Because you all aren't used to listening to this, I want those voices to come through. The song lyrics, the DJ, the commercials. I want that stuff to come through. So whatever the 2 of you hear, it's going to the 2 of you. Because I need you guys to verify. Look at them looking at each other like, really? I need you guys to verify what's actually coming through. So I'm going to set it up to record and then turn it up for a second just so you guys can get a gist of what it sounds like. Because you're going to get the full audio. Oh, it's loud enough. Y'all don't need to be jumping in on that. The nice thing about this, don't do that. So, even when it's on mute, it's still recording at a nice even level. So even when I'm talking, or obviously I'll say spirit boxes, let's cut that off so I don't have to shout over it. It's still recording for us, which is really cool.
They want a bat. Is that a sign?
Oh, yeah.
See if I hear anything. I did hear the word heart when the traffic was going by when I first started, so again, whatever you hear, it could be a message. There's only one button y'all need to worry about. There's a turn wheel right here at the top. You control the volume. It's that simple. You don't need to touch anything else on it. Except when I say, okay, let's get those spirit boxes up and running, then that's when the 2 of you will start listening. And I'm going to show you more about how to use that a little bit more effectively. EMF meters? Does that look a little like what you guys have?
Yep,
okay, so you should already be somewhat familiar with this. So this, did they tell you how it works?
More lights, right? The more lights there are, that means the spirit is
not necessarily
active, or they're could possibly be something.
So they're acting like the television shows, and everything that lights up on here is exciting. That's not the case. So let's go through some quick debunking on what this guy actually does. It measures 3 different types of electromagnetic fields. Okay, the first one's natural. It's from the earth. That's why it's green. It's not doing anything because it's a natural balance. Your parking meters, electronic items, cell phones, wiring are going to make this thing go into a rhythm. We don't want that either. Okay, it's going to happen because we're in a busy city. When it goes into a rhythm, we can try to debunk it very quickly. When a thing lights up like a Christmas tree and we can't, it's erratic and all over the place, then we more than likely have some kind of spiritual activity happening. And that also means I don't get excited with one device going off. That means something else is going off, and I might not be able to see it until tomorrow morning. So you're going to let us know when that's going crazy. Just because you're so geared up, I figure I'd give you something simple.
You need more hands.
Yes. That or more pockets.
Yeah, right? All right, so we also want to kind of debunk what's going on with TODD's thermal imaging camera. So we're going to use several different types of thermometers. We already know what this guy is, right? It's a surface temperature, so it's only going to give us the temperature of whatever the red dot touches. Now let's say Todd's standing where I am, and he says, Nick, there's a blue spot right there in the middle of that wall. It's starting to move around a little bit, it's growing. I want to debunk it first by going across the entire surface to make sure that it's the same temperature, and nothing up there should be blue. Now, in the event that it's all the same temperature, then I have an ambient thermometer to be able to find between Todd and the wall where that blue spot is actually occurring, and then we can see where it's actually happening with that. Does that make sense? I'm here to debunk things for you guys just as much as I am to prove it. So, these are both going to go to you because you're going to help him determine what's going on. Now, the yellow one you could probably pocket, throw in your purse, just don't let me forget it, because it's not as active. It's more, that one's more to prove, but the blue one, the gun, is going to help determine some of the surface temperatures that you're seeing.
So I don't have to do anything with this one?
Not yet.
Okay.
Not until we actually find something. That is a laser. That will get Nick in a lot of trouble, just so you know. Possibly handcuffs. Like, that's how serious it is. It's a good thing I have a group of adults. I don't have to worry about the... let's see. What do we want to give Bob?
It's just like our forehead thermometer. You know, right?
Yeah.
Spirit box.
Put it in my hand.
Alright.
89.7.
You already have one handful, so we're only going to go with one of these. So we'll go with the less dangerous one. How about that? So I have several types of grid pens. This one in particular is a little unique because it gives us red squares. Now my other one actually gives us very bright green dots, which can be very dangerous in the hands of teenagers. Trust me. Teenagers. So what does this actually help us do? Can't see the lasers until something passes through. It's up here. Right? So obviously we're all staring down at the red squares, but up here between the box and the ground, you can't see anything until something passes through it. Now, in the event we actually get something on video or on camera, usually I have a camera involved too if there's a group of 10, but let's say we capture something here. I can then give you a full 3D apparition of everything that's in there once I put it in 3D software.
Okay.
How cool is that?
Very cool.
Now, I haven't caught anything with this guy yet, Bob, so it's going to be up to you. There are lots of rules. There's lots of rules about lasers. That in particular, we point it straight down and maybe go 5 feet out in front of you on the grounds only, unless, of course, I say, hey, this is a good spot where I've had weird stuff happen before. There's only one toggle switch, and that's it. So, I'm going to use a few tools myself to kind of help move this along. Wow, it got really quiet. That's nice. The fans are off. That's good. I don't have to feel like a drill sergeant to you guys. So I do have a backup EMF. Was it Bill? In case Bill's goes wrong. Just making sure I got names right. Alright, so I do have a backup in case that goes down and the battery's drained. I also use 2 different types of spirit boxes on my phone. Now, it's going to give us a word from time to time in the center of that screen, and then it's going to save it for us in a list. Now, the last group I did had about 59 turns. It's about average, about 50 to 60 roughly. Here's what I'll tell you about this list. 80% of it doesn't mean a damn thing.
Okay.
It's meant to be a game and it works. I have gotten more relevant evidence off of this particular app than any other tool that you guys have in your hand. So, again, it helps me direct on like, hey, I need to listen to the spirit box a little bit more, and I'll explain more as we go along, like how I put it all together. So that one you guys are going to get, but you're also going to have the full list. I'm not going to hide anything from you, because sometimes I get a text or an email the next day that says, you know what, my cat's name is Radar, and those 2 words were on the list back to back. And I don't know that because I don't know that your cat's name is Radar. So it could be related to you guys as well. The second one I'm going to use is a reverse spirit box. Now this one is not just set up for creepiness, I've actually debunked it already. It's literally a man and a woman saying random words, and then the audio is flipped backwards. So it's a reverse spirit box. I don't know how long that loop goes on for. I tested it for over an hour, and I did not hear any repetitive words. And I will play things for you guys throughout the night of what I've caught on this, if you want to try to help debunk what is actually happening. I'm going to turn it up so you guys can get the gist of what it sounds like. So complete gibberish. So when something does come through, it actually makes sense and it's in forward format. Since it's so quiet, maybe I'll play it now. Only because I had an EVP I caught a few weeks ago that came up clear as day and made complete sense, just not at the time. I'll tell you why in a second. So, play it several times as we go through. State traffic. Sorry. Wait till the motorcycle goes away. We'll try again.
Breakfast?
Something breakfast.
Baked beans
I
breakfast.
should say baked beans is what I thought it said.
That's what he said.
So here's what happened. Your spirit box told me, I'll fix you, baked beans breakfast, and then that word list gave me the word tea. They were all within 2.5 minutes of each other. Did you see how I have to put all that together in the morning to kind of look at that? So, and it didn't make any sense to me. I was like, what the heck is baked beans breakfast? Like, that's a breakfast over in the UK. Like, and I was talking about a woman who was originally from England. So that makes complete sense the next morning when I put it all together. So, let me turn that other one back on. Guys, we start here for a reason. So, this place is haunted, and was it you that texted me about the yellow cupboard?
Yeah.
They're probably keeping those empty because the construction crew is in here renovating it for whatever they're turning this place into. But this place used to be called Big John's back in the 1970s, and it was named after a football player, Big John Kennedy. And John used to sit in the back of the bar, and he would kind of nod off to the bartender whether the cadets that came over from the Citadel were of age or not. One night, two guys come in, they're not of age. Big John tells the bartender to cut them off. They leave, pretty angry. They come back the next night, and they try to steal the cash register from the front of the bar. Two obviously got in a big fight with Big John. Shots were fired. People got shot. The bullet hole ricocheted and landed in the wall. I don't know if that bullet hole is still going to be there, but it was with the last bar. And it is said that people that sit in the front of this bar, where that bullet hole still was, start to not feel well. Dizzy, headache, queasiness, those kind of things. That's the paranormal activity coming off of the bullet hole. The bullet itself, nobody dead. I bring this up because I don't know how paranormal activity is going to affect any of you. I don't say it to scare you, but if any of you guys feel any of those things, I need to know. It's a big deal. First time somebody dropped like a wet noodle, I was in CPR class the next day. And it's happened on a nice cool night like this. So, again, I'm not saying it to scare you, it's a pretty serious thing that actually happened. So, you guys taken any other history tours in Charleston before?
Yes.
Okay, so you should know we had a big earthquake here, right?
Yes.
1868. So, a piece of the mantling fell off in the front of the building, and this is apparently where the first death occurred from that earthquake. It's a big earthquake for Charleston because we don't get earthquakes. So, the ghost from that guy is actually said to be seen right out here on the middle of East Bay Street. I don't have the proof of that myself. Took that from the previous bar owner. And I was just kind of like, all right, I'll add it into the stories and see what actually happens. So I do listen to like the first 10 minutes on your spirit box just to see if anything comes through. I don't normally get much based on the earthquake. It's more about Big John's teammates. Y'all ready to go something? Have I talked enough? I hope not, because we got another hour and a half to go with this. Let's get rolling. Let's go this way.
Any chance that we could cook the Bigfoot too?
Sure.
You know what he means by that, right? Like if you shoot that like in somebody's eyes or
Right.
air, you get it literally.
Yeah.
Right.
What?
You think something about a haunted house or something?
That bar on the corner. Oh, yeah, they lived in one.
Lived in one?
Yeah. So how do y'all know you lived in a haunted house?
Things disappeared.
Really?
All kinds of stuff.
It's pretty directive.
You see a little boy in the hallway?
So with every location, I'll go through and give
I'm
everybody...
going nuts right now.
Awesome. That's good news. I'll give pretty specific direction on everybody's devices after I give you guys the skinny on what's actually happening in that area. So, unlike my own investigations where I like to go in blind and not know anything, so that way when I hear things on a spirit box or see things on a camera, I can look it up and validate it later. I'm going to give you the stories up front. So, first, you guys should know, like, picture the peninsula of Charleston. Much skinnier back in the 1700s during Revolutionary War times. For you history buffs, ship rolls up, shoots a cannon, and lands at the stop sign right past the red barn over here. And a piece of those pieces of this cannonball was found, and it was a neighborhood back then. No deaths, no tragedies, no paranormal activity. Just one of those weird little history nuggets that I stumbled across that was actually along the tour, and I said, I'll add it. Again, just like the earthquake story. So, you're standing in the big red barn lot where they keep the horses for your carriage rides. Horses are inside that building. Those of you with lasers, we have one there and one over here. We're going to keep those lasers out of the building. No windows. I wouldn't even attempt to shine it on the building at all. We will spook them. So this is also the same red barn where they actually kept the horses that delivered milk to Charleston. So that dates it for you, about 1860s to 1920s. I don't have exact dates on it. That's really all the history I have here. So this place is haunted, only because I get stuff from Big John, I get stuff from whoever used to work here. I get random things that occur, like his EMF meter going off. So, let's talk about the spirit box for a second. So spirit boxes on your TV shows will normally start pounding questions away and trying to provoke spirits to give them an answer. It's not how it really goes. Especially on your friendly places like the places I'm going to tell you throughout the night. We're going to start off with something simple, okay? You want to stay with me yes or no questions, and you also want to go with something you know. We all know that the barn is red. This is the same example I give to everybody. So, what color is the barn? You're going to listen for 30 seconds. Wait for the answer of red. If you don't hear it, ask the same question again. Spirits need time and energy to muster up what they need to tell us, or somebody on the radio just wasn't ready to give that a word for them to be able to give it to us. They're using that particular device as kind of like Bumblebee from Transformers, where he talked through the radio. You know, it's a more recent film, so that's kind of how that works. In the event you do get an answer, okay, thank you for that. Now, can you tell me what's inside the barn? Horses. You might also hear things like delivery, milk. You might get a name after that. Who knows? You never know what's actually going to come out of it. If you want to go after who's here with us, that's waiting for a name. That's also something very specific. Now, there's also, with the same type of mentality of I might be doing things on my spirit box, and you have a spirit box, we have the audio over here plus my audio that's recording right here. Sorry, I didn't know to move it up. That answer can go anywhere. So you might be asking questions over there, and I get an answer. I'm like, did you ask what was inside the barn? Because I just heard horses. And I'll follow up with you guys periodically, especially like in the next spot where it gets, I'm going to give you questions but no answers. So it's going to be up to you to find out what those answers are. We're starting off something simple so that they know what to listen for. We're going to get a nice clean sweep, slow sweep on the camera. Like, we're basically going to do about 2 laps in here. You're going to verify some of the temperatures that he's seeing, starting off with like the brick wall over here, the ground. You have a ton of different types of materials. You have metal, asphalt, vehicles, the wood, the brick, foliage, those kind of things. Though you're going to pretty much be leading the way of where these ladies are going to stop with, well, and Bob, as far as that matter. You guys are going to pretty much stay as a group, because really we're going to try to get the laser going on, and because you have so many cameras, I didn't pull mine out. So if you take a bunch of pictures through that and we actually capture something, I'd like to have that picture. So, trying to think what else we have. What's that?
I would love to.
I'm trying to think what else do we have. So I think that about covers it with the devices that we have out. I don't have a full group of 10, so sorry if I'm like, where's the rest of my stuff? There's no group of 10 for the rest of the people who will be carrying what I actually have left in the bag. So we're going to start. Let's get you moving and find out where the hottest spots are with that EMF. You ladies can turn up your spirit box at this point. You get too close to the barn. What's that? How far is haunted? Is that what you asked? So it doesn't really matter how far it goes. It matters the pattern that it goes. just kind of do a quick lap all the way around. Get about 2 laps and we'll see how that thing fluctuates. While I got them moving. A couple other tricks about that while keep you
And I
guys
just
moving.
follow him with the laser?
Yep, that's it.
Okay.
So, like for example, go ahead and shoot the ground, like past this black area, go up to the gray, just so you guys can get a gist of how far in temperature that is. That laser will shoot pretty far, just so you know.
So I just hit it once and that's it?
What's the temperature you have?
79.7.
And you should say around 84 to 86 degrees, right around this area. You see the crosshairs in the middle of your screen? So, am I correct?
82.
82? So you guys are about 3 to 4 degrees difference apart. So again, if his goes below what yours says, we obviously have something going on.
Okay.
Because yours should always be anywhere between, it's normally like 3 to 5 degrees, sometimes 5 to 6, but you should always be above what hers is. They're not calibrated.
Okay.
So when I realized that, I decided to leave it that way on purpose, so that way if you see something that goes lower, we got something going on.
Okay.
So, and that way we can start to debunk it with that yellow one and try to figure out what's actually happening. But
So go ground to building and
yeah, like as long as you're not shooting that thing, and it'll go ahead and shoot the red wall from here. I mean, it shoots pretty far. I mean, you can see how bright that red dot is.
75.7.
Okay, so you should probably be right around 78, 79 degrees for that red wall.
81.
Okay, so now we're back up. Now we're back up to 5 or 6. Now, if he were to tell me he said 70 degrees, there's something going on because he's got something in between them. Because that should be definitely lower than what his is.
Okay.
They're not calibrated.
Okay.
So, again, that can't see through glass. So your glass, when we go through and you're going to see buildings, they're going to be blue in color because the building around it is a good 5 to 8 degrees higher in temperature. And you can also catch thermodynamics in reverse. So that's an interesting theory as well. What that means is that, let's say you're holding that camera perfectly still, and whatever's right here starts to grow in heat, and you're watching it go up 5, 10, 15, 20 degrees. It's growing in heat. That means you can't destroy or generate temperature. It has to balance. So that means there's a cold spot generating nearby. I don't want you to go and look for that cold spot. That's still enough evidence for me to say something else is being created. I've caught it twice now since I've had that camera, almost a year. Which is a really cool feature. That thing is way too bright for the horses. Sorry.
I'm not exactly sure what I'm supposed to be doing, but
We got
79.
So yeah, you just
So should I be paying more attention to the temperature or the color?
both.
Both.
I know it's, and the cool thing about that is I'm going to actually upload that to YouTube and watch it on my TV before I send it back to you guys. So you might miss something. That's just why we record it,
Right.
and then that way I could see it again later.
Right.
Just to give you a gist of something I caught. This was just a few weeks ago. Get there.
Are you a male?
Now, blue and black are the coldest spots on that camera. It's set up to white, hot, black, cold. So,
Are you a male?
no yes or no questions. Stay away from those yes or no questions. Just, it should be like, hey, are you male or female? That way you get something specific.
Are you a male?
There we go. Perfect. Let's see. Page.
Are you young or are you old?
So what we're looking at here is there's going to be 2 people that walk. See the 2 living people?
Yeah.
Orange and red. They're going to walk past a wall, and fast forward 20 seconds, we're going to get 2 people that are black in color going the opposite direction. As it pans back up.
Are you a male or female?
Did you miss it? I think I went too far.
Yeah.
So again, with other people in view, they should have been the exact same color.
Okay.
At least orange and red, not black.
Okay.
So, and the reason why they called me up to that particular area, like we were all bunched together like that, is because they thought they saw a shadow. So of course, that was my marker to like, all right, maybe check out the video, the spirit box, let's see what comes up. And I spotted that, I'm like, holy cow. Like that's probably the strongest evidence I've caught with that thing yet, which is really cool.
All right, you want to walk that away?
Okay.
So, yep, just make a few laps, get used to how it fluctuates.
Okay. Glad I had 74.8 gallons. Are you just doing the building?
Yeah.
No, we need to be like doing the same
No.
spot.
I don't think so. I don't think you have to be. I think you're only supposed to measure if I find something. I think.
Oh, okay.
I think.
I thought we both did ours together.
I don't think so. I'm confused. I don't watch enough ghost shows. So
I think he said like we have to do it together, and then if there's a big temperature difference between beyond 3 to 5 degrees, then you know there might be something.
Well, this is too much like work.
What's your temperature?
It depends on what I'm pointed at, honey.
Do you want to ask him again?
Someone else needs to do this instead of me. I'm not responsible enough.
You get on the door. Whoops. Triple machine.
78.6.
All right, that's 76.
82 on the wall.
I got 78. 75.
Is there any chance that can we watch for Bigfoot too?
Huh?
Can we look for Bigfoot too in this thing?
Sure. 76.
Where?
69.8.
I'm at 80.
Ooh, what's that blob up there?
Clouds.
Yeah, 60, 68.
I'm at 80. So that's a big difference, right?
Yeah. Did he ask him?
I guess. But mine should be colder, right?
Yours should be colder?
Yeah.
No, mine.
If yours drops below lower than hers, then we definitely have something going.
Well,
on.
the question that she had was, she's getting a lot lower than I am up at the corner of that building. She's getting what? And, and I'm getting like 80. Yeah, I'm getting 80.
We do have a slight breeze coming through here too. We're also right on the edge. Is that full true for the whole wall? Maybe try the center here instead of that corner.
Where were you below the gutter?
Yeah.
I'm at 79 there below the gutter.
76.
Okay. I've had weird things happen with this half of the wall before, with different the different lasers. People like to shine a laser on the wall to see what it actually looks like. I've had it where it looks like a waterfall, and there's no water nowhere near to be found.
Oh, freaky.
Yeah, happens all. I don't want to say happens all the time. That was a really cool night for us, and we were so amazed. None of us thought to pull out our damn video cameras. So, there's something else that happened in this one too. Yeah, we definitely got a breeze coming through. The trees are up high. So I'm going to take that. I mean, the top of buildings, like there's actually an experiment that I do with the last building we look at with your gun. Because tonight's a little breezy, so I would expect it to be about 20 degrees difference. It's pretty high up. It's 3.5 floors. But at the top of that building, there's a stone, and then there's the same type of stone inlaid into the building 5 feet below it, and sometimes they go up to 30-degree difference with no breeze. That does face the water, so it should be a little bit cooler along the top. On a no breeze night, it should be like 7 to 15 degrees max. When it goes up to 30 degrees, that means I need to listen to the spirit boxes and watch the camera a little bit closer towards the end of our tour to see what's actually there. So I want to actually move everybody along. We're still taking a lot of pictures. So you guys ready to learn some real history now? Instead of just about the red line. You got orbs coming through?
Yeah.
I've had orbs here before.
I'm tired of orbs.
Orbs are still evidence. They're unexplainable.
Everybody sees an orb, they say it's a 30 lens. Except that you take 30 pictures and they're not there at the beginning and they're there afterwards.
Sorry about that.
No, it was just the horses that delivered them.
You're gonna be a Ghostbuster now.
I'll have the DVR set to record all the shows. I was going to tell him, like, every time I'll have a ball game on, leave the room, I come back and there's a ghost story on.
Be careful.
Careful pulling that. Sometimes you're pulling that when you don't even think it's a DVR. Don't leave a finger on it.
It's right on
Yeah.
there.
Well, I saw the red dot.
I know that all that yellow dot.
Yeah, definitely not buildings. Alright, so I know another parking lot. I told you I wasn't taking you to all the pretty areas of Charleston. So welcome to the Charles and Eliza Pinckney Mansion lot. So their home would have been in the front of the lot, and Eliza's garden. Oh, it's going to go crazy in here. The minute I start with her story, she usually gets going. Eliza's garden would have been lined up with a tree right there, and then the slave homes would have been in the back of this lot. So the story, there's quite a bit of it here actually. This is also where Baked Beans Breakfast occurred, where that EVP I played for you guys earlier. Eliza's from England. So Eliza and Charles had a son named Charles and had a nephew named Charles. The son and the nephew were signers of our Constitution. So, pretty big deal for Charleston, but I hate talking about politics because it's 2020 and politics suck.
Yes.
So, we're going to move on to Eliza.
Okay.
Eliza actually married Charles at a young age, so she didn't have to go home to her sick dad. He thought he was dying, he wanted all of his kids home, so she didn't want to go. So she got married instead and became a citizen, and here she stayed. Now, Dad got better, he started sending gifts over. One of those gifts happened to be the plant indigo. Indigo is a very big deal for us. And I don't know that I have to explain what indigo is, but I normally do anyway because sometimes I get kids on a tour. It makes blue dye, it makes our blue jeans blue. So she was also the businesswoman that sold indigo overseas through Dad's connections. So we're talking 1700s. There was no such thing as a businesswoman. It's a pretty big deal for Charleston. Now, a couple weird things about Eliza is that she was the second wife named Eliza to Charles. I'm waiting for those I have epilepsy, so those flashes are kind of they're a little disturbing. Hey? So, sorry, I was pausing. Every time I seen the yellow, I'm like, one's coming. I gotta close up. So, it won't throw me to a seizure. It's just I have a really, really hard time with those. So I'm sorry. But at any rate, so Eliza was second wife named Eliza. I want to try to find out what the maiden name of Eliza was through your spirit box. So you can ask her, hey Eliza, tell me what your maiden name was. The other thing about them is they had 4 kids, Eliza and Charles, only one daughter. So you can try to find out what the daughter's name was. You can ask anything you want to about Eliza's death. How she died, how old she was, any of those things. Where she buried, what happened to the mansion. Was that part of her death?
Nobody knows?
Oh yeah, I know all the answers.
Oh, you know. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not letting you know
Okay.
to see if you actually come up with the correct answers. So that way it'll prove the actual activity that's coming through. So we definitely want nice slow sweeps again from you guys. The shadow I showed you all earlier was up in that corner. If you guys want to maybe try to focus in there, just give me a good minute or two of solidarity up there, just the two of you.
Okay.
Lasers can be a little sensitive on car alarms, so we want to be mindful of the cars in the lot.
Don't do that.
And it's actually a pretty light, like normally this lot on a weekend is jam full, so we're lucky enough to have a little bit more space to move around. Trying to think, what else do we have on the EMF meter? Everybody see the light blinking on the back of the Five Church restaurant over there?
Yeah.
Kind of subtle.
Yeah.
When it is flashing like that, you're going to get the same type of pulses out of your EMF meter. Doesn't always happen, and I'll tell you the past couple of nights I've been doing tours, that light hasn't been on at all.
It's
It's kind of my
here.
barometer of how much activity we're going to get out of this place.
It's this
So
way.
So again, if you hold that up with it in view, kind of like this guy, you're going to hold it up just like this, you'll see the pulses that are going to come through the same time of that light over there. And you want to have both of them in view.
All right, you want to walk up there?
Do you see the light that's...
Oh, up on the second floor or something?
No, it's right above the doorway.
Yeah, I see that.
It's gonna
Right.
pulse at the same time as your EMF. So when that pulses, you should have probably a little bit of a spike, and then that will spike. So that doesn't always work, but again, it's kind of my barometer of how much activity you get. Sometimes I think it's just so. Again, this is an interesting one. Let's see what you get. I'm gonna take
What you got?
A bunch of red and a bunch of blue.
Temperatures.
On what?
Put it in the middle of your screen.
Well, on the ground, it's 79.
Okay.
On the wall, it's 82.
82.
Oh my God. We're on the ground there. About 80. Here, ghosty, ghosty, ghosty. Well, we want to see something, right? They were talking about the stuff missing from their house or whatever.
There was 76 right there. I think it's Sandy.
Yeah, it's like 79 or 80. I've told you the story about what Drew Franklin swears the house they were in was haunted, right?
No.
And about him working the puzzle. So I told you they were big into working puzzles when you were working your puzzles and all, right? He and Abby. Well, they'd work this like 1,000-piece puzzle, right? And I forgot what the puzzle was.
Right there.
But anyway, the puzzle 82 81 82 up there's 85 up on the wall. But anyway, something in the puzzle was like didn't have any red in it, right? But there was something one little spot of something. I forgot what it was. He said what the picture was. But anyway, it had basically one red piece. That would be like solid red piece, you know. They got to the whole puzzle done, and the red piece was missing. And so they were like, we've worked this puzzle, and the red piece is gone, right? They looked everywhere. They searched the entire house for the red piece, right? And they searched around the house for days for this red piece, right? Never could find it, right? And then they came home one day, and the red piece was laying on the rug right in front of the door when they walked in. And he was like, there was no way that piece could have gotten there. They'd been in and out that door. It wasn't stuck in anybody's shoe. It freaked them out. Where? 79, maybe.
Okay. Can we walk back that way? I don't think we did those things.
I don't either. I'm sitting here thinking I'd have paid $44 to walk around holding my damn cell phone up.
I'm still hitting like 79, 77.
I just shined it on you and what it said. It said she's hot.
Yeah. I got a
Anything
7.
weird on the camera? Anything weird on the camera?
No, not that I've seen.
Even the windows on this church, like that's the restaurant.
Up in there?
Five church restaurant.
I was staying down in here.
Yeah.
Should I go kind of up in there too?
No, I'm just kind of giving her the warning.
Oh, don't
Like,
shine it.
Yeah.
Oh, I
try
got
to
you.
Below the walls, keep it within the confines.
Yeah.
I did get the word May when I asked about Charles's birth month.
Uh-huh.
That's the month of Eliza's death.
Oh.
Like May came up right away. I'm like, okay, Charles's birth month. Bob started talking to me. I'm like, you're gonna have to stop that. But he is a police officer and I just got the word law. So we'll see
Oh.
what comes up next.
Freaky.
Really?
About there.
78 to 80.
Yeah. $75 right where we are. See if you put it over the wall and get those people walking. Can you see them?
Yeah. You can. They're not just the tips of their heads. not something moving or something. I don't know what I'm looking for anyway. Unless it's like a really cold blue or black.
Yeah. Or heat growing.
Yeah, the front of that car is the engine.
Smell fish.
I heard it don't matter. Eliza, you told me the month you died in earlier. Tell me when you were born. Alright, Eliza, let's move on to something else. Tell me what happened to the mansion. You're lost. We know you lost it. How did you lose it? Blue Festival. Blue is the color of indigo. I get a lot of words that wrap around.
Wrap around.
They're in November, but that's not the right date.
The can. Yeah.
They were friends. See why. Technically, she called Eliza the second wife through her teenage years.
Oh, really?
Are you listening?
Eliza, how many slaves did you own? Eliza, can you tell me how many slaves you owned? Eliza, where are you buried at? Eliza, can you tell me where you are buried at? Got 73 right in there. Still above me.
So let me give you the answer to the question. So Eliza died at the age of 70 from breast cancer in Philadelphia. And that's also where she's buried. So she's not even buried nearby, but she likes to come visit here. I did get Charles to do say Charles is here. And I did get the month May when I asked about Charles's birthday, but that would be the month of Eliza's death, the month of May. So I went straight to her birthday, thinking she was here, and that would be December, but you and I heard November, which is, there's got to be something significant there. In fact, we did get a month. It's almost like they're directing us to how to ask the next question. Eliza Lucas Pinkney was the one who grew the indigo. Eliza Lamb Pinkney was the first one. The daughter's name was Harriet. So, that's, I think, oh, and the mansion caught fire right above that corner, second story. That's why I usually go there. If my spirit box teams normally don't go there, that's where I go, because that's where the hot spots are.
Okay.
Did you see anything weird on the video at all, Todd? Nothing? Nothing that you saw? Okay. And nothing weird temperature-wise at all? Okay. And how about our grids? Did we see anything on the grids? Anything in your pictures that you noticed? No orbs in this spot?
I haven't seen it.
Okay. I have caught shadow figures here before too, other than the video that I showed you guys earlier. I caught two shadows over there. One of them had like a wide brim hat, almost like a bowling hat on. So it's pretty interesting to see. He's fine. He's good. Like I said, I'll speak up if it's too much. The other one was a little too much.
Okay, great.
So, all right, we're gonna walk up East Bay Street for about 4 blocks. It's definitely a masked up area. The restaurants like to do dine outside kind of thing. We're gonna go up to Lodge Alley and learn about some weird things that happen up there. We definitely want to listen to your spirit box and listen for names. I'll explain when we get there.
Okay.
Try to, have to go slow sweeps as we're walking so you can keep up with us. Lasers is definitely a no-go on lasers, and the EMF is going to go off because of the parking meters. So don't get too excited about the EMF on East Bay. And I did get, Bob, by the way, when you and I were talking, as soon as you walked away, the word law came up. So just thought I would kind of give you that. And the word justice came up just now. So, again, he was law enforcement. I kind of take that as a, all right, maybe she knows something I don't. We were talking about his career.
Right, yeah.
So,
My
well, that's somewhat relevant.
Right.
We'll see what else pops up.
Yeah.
What's the dynamic here? Who's who to what?
We're husband and wife.
Okay.
Husband and wife and their sisters.
We're sisters.
Okay.
Yeah, we're
got
sisters.
It. You're looking over here. You guys are married, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. All right. So that kind of helps me because I wait again. I try to go in blind, so I'm not like, oh, what's the dynamic? And then all of a sudden, I realized there was a brother-sister that just had a fight earlier, and there was a little tension between them. And then it was, I get the word tension, sisters would pop up.
Right.
So again, it's kind of like how I have to look at this.
Usually fight.
No, we don't.
I don't remember the last time we had an argument.
No.
Probably
All right,
when we were
let's sit this way,
15. Okay. One step up, 3 down.
Looking like rough concrete. Now the lady behind us has a little boy and Nick, a little toddler Nick is walking around her house.
Oh, really?
I haven't caught it on camera yet.
Really?
My best pictures is at the dungeon down here in Charleston. I had a man's face coming through the brick, big Jewish nose, big forehead, jaws, eyes.
Really?
Yes.
It's recording, so I'm just letting it roll,
Sometimes I look down in our kitchen. I have to put his cup in the middle of the counter. Sit down.
mom's does too.
What's that?
He said the ceiling fan would go on and off. I said your mom's does too,
yeah.
but I don't think that's a ghost. Though. I think that's the wiring.
Well, if it goes on and it stops at a dead stop instead of coasting.
Okay.
Maybe there's nothing wrong with your mom's fan. Maybe it is a ghost in your mom's house. Every Christmas.
Yeah.
Veronica, years ago, talk about, we were in a cemetery, they talk about that. They always talk about a child's sudden death, a crib death, a child death because mother dying in childbirth. In 1700, just doesn't felt common. Why this person was so special? It's a 100th anniversary. They were buried, the child and the mother were buried together. And we were taking pictures, me and one other guy. 98% of people that go to ghost stories don't believe in ghosts. They go for the storytelling, the entertainment. And we agreed we'd do flashes every other, so we didn't interfere with anybody else's picture. I took a picture, he took a picture, and he got this lady bending over the grave, period clothing. You could see the print, you could see the white lace going around the mask, but you could see through it. It was a god.
Really?
One ghost tour down here has that on their brochure.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It was a
Huh. What part of Cincinnati did you live in this house? What area of Cincinnati was it?
where I do live.
You still live in that same house? What area is that? We used to live in northern Kentucky. We used to live in Union, just south of Florence, for about 6 years.
Colerain Township.
Colerain?
Yeah.
Yeah. We used to play baseball all over Cincinnati area.
Our house is actually on registered land. It's part of the Powell Crosley estate. You ever heard of Powell Crosley?
No, other
Crosley Field.
Crosley Field.
WLW Radio.
Yeah.
They're the same freaking number. It's 4.
His mansion, Pinecroft, is a
5,
stone's
6,
throw
7,
from my
8,
house.
9.
Really?
My street, where I'm at, used to be his runway, where he would take off and land his private plane.
Mm-hmm.
That's disturbing. He flashes on it.
Is that barbecue place I saw over here? I don't smell it.
Yeah. This is actually a great picture spot while it's empty.
Well, we ate there yesterday
Yeah.
at Magnolia's. At Magnolia's.
He loved it.
And their food
No?
was good.
Didn't care for it?
I didn't care for what I ordered.
He didn't care for what he ordered, but the rest of our food was excellent.
I've heard it was really good. I don't eat out. Too expensive at church.
It is. It is.
And I live about 30 minutes from here.
So you live in Somerville?
Yeah.
So that's where your books are published?
Well, there's the bookstores
The
in
bookstore.
Somerville. Yeah.
So only in Somerville is where you can buy your books, and you said off Amazon?
Yeah, actually, I have some in my car.
Oh,
like, I keep
okay.
them for the tours in case anybody asks.
Okay.
So, we're definitely, yeah, I parked in a good spot where it's along the way back.
Right.
So if you guys park that way,
We walked because we're
that's
staying at Church Street.
gotcha.
Yeah, it depends on how
So
I
we
move
can,
it.
I mean, where's your car parked
I'll
at?
move it up.
Pretty close to where we started. If I park it.
It gets red. If I move it down,
Still might go more good up there.
it turns blue.
Do you have your 9 o'clock tour after that?
Yeah. What I could do is, once you check them out on the website, you just let me know where they are, and I'm going to be back here tomorrow, or I can meet
Okay.
you somewhere.
Yeah.
That way we're not rushed.
Okay.
And that way you can look at them. And then
Okay, so I can get on your website page?
you're going to have my website from the data.
Oh, from the data. Okay, then I can remember what.
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds great.
Yeah.
So you're gonna be, how long you gonna be in here?
I'll have them until 8:30.
Yeah, no.
Oh, where he wants to pick back up with you.
Oh,
How long you gonna be in the,
maybe 10 minutes or so.
then where you at?
Philadelphia Alley, straight across the street. So you'll go go through this alley and go straight to the middle lot. Yeah, Philadelphia alley.
Okay. Okay.
I'm sorry.
No problem.
He'll be back.
No problem.
I'm going to go to the condo.
Rondo real quick. I'll catch back up.
Okay.
Alright, let me get you guys up here. We'll tell you what's going on and take our time so he can catch back up if he wants to.
I want you to break my record on getting in something to film. It's been a few years since I've gotten anything to film.
Yeah. We haven't got too much here in Charleston.
How many pictures I have of the alley?
So, I have I get a bunch I'll tell you what goes on up here, but I normally give a digital camera out, and I try not to give it to the teenager, because I will get 500 plus pictures with it, because they have no idea what it is, and they want to play with it.
Right.
And teenagers are used to taking pictures with their phones.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
when I give them something new, they're like, oh, there's a button, and that's it. Click, 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 click. I'm like,
Right.
that's a lot of pictures for me to go through. And half of them are blurry because I don't put a flash on it, because we don't want the false positives. So if he's taking pictures of the windows, I would have to analyze every light that bounces off. Or I can give it to my wife, because she, like I said, she does all the photography work
Right.
for me. I just feel bad that she's not able to go through the rest of it.
Yeah.
She was almost there. What was bugging her? Yeah, probably wasn't a good place to
Her back was hurting.
The back was hurting.
Alright. Go catch up. Did you guys see anything weird on there?
No.
So I get all kinds of little green orbs that show up in here that don't make any sense. They're almost solid. It's almost like they're reflecting off of something else, but my wife and I have been down here trying to analyze. Can't find it, and it's never in the same spot. I have video of one moving around at the edge of this alley, kind of like in a little wispy. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. It's always the same color. Colored orbs also have meaning. So in event, we actually capture some orbs and kind of give you an article on my study there. So this is Lodge Alley. This is actually one of the oldest streets in Charleston. So again, the peninsula was much skinnier. Those buildings down there wouldn't have been here. So this would have been filled with the smell of low tide coming in. It would have been horrible to live here. There was actual shotgun houses here. Not many of them, but people did live on this street. These two buildings were not here. So we're talking 1790s to 1890s. I have the full list of residents of every person that's ever lived here. The two names that come up the most often on the spirit boxes are Benjamin and John. We just got the word high tech, and I don't think I've ever seen that phrase before. That's the weirdest. That's an odd phrase. Again, I'm out here 6 nights a week, so when I see something I don't like normally see, I'm like, that's weird. And these cameras are pretty high tech. But at any rate, I usually listen for Benjamin and John when I'm going through the spirit box stuff here. And again, it's not going to record our conversation or anything outside, so we had it turned down. We didn't listen on the way here because we were chatting. They did do an archaeological dig in between these clay bricks. Now keep in mind, these are handmade, hand-laid. None of them are the same size, shape, spacing. They're all off.
Right.
With that being said, they were very careful, but they did find some of their tools and silverware and little pieces of their clothing from the people that used to live here. They consider these people lower class, which makes sense because who would want to live here with that nasty smell coming from it? But again, this is also where the Masons used to meet, so that's another interesting point. I have some shadows in here. The green orb is a commonality for me in here, and again, it's never in the same spot. Never in the same spot. I mean, my wife just looks at me. She says, I don't know who it is, but they keep showing up. She's like, because she can't make heads or tails. She'll analyze all the lighting. She knows where all the lights are in this alley, and she has no clue where it's coming from. So we're definitely going to listen to your spirit box on the way through here. The hotel that is on your end over there, guys, the yellow building, every hotel down here has claims of ghosts and hauntings. None of them will give me a free room. I'm not going to validate any of them. I'm going to be knocking on doors again in January to see who's going to give me the free room so I can record everything. But right now, like, they have claims of apparitions and some things moving around, doors locking, just like every other hotel down here. But again, they know I got the equipment. They're not going to let me in, especially if they want the publicity of it being haunted,
Right.
that kind of thing. So we'll see who's going to let me in this year. Last year, there was nobody. But I'm becoming quite the big deal of Charleston because everybody knows I got the tools and the gadgets.
Right.
Oh, that's awesome for your audio, by the way, so you guys know you were in Charleston. But we're going to actually go through here. We're going to cross the street. He's probably just turning around so we can get a beer. And we're going to head up to Philadelphia Alley. Are you guys going to be texting Bob to make sure he can keep up with us, or if he's coming back, or how do we want to do this?
You like to do this for a long?
You want me to?
If you want to.
I can.
Philadelphia?
Yeah, Philadelphia Alley's our next spot.
Okay.
Uh-oh, we're switching up. Did
Yeah.
you give up?
No, it's just rubbing it on it.
It's okay if you did. I only have a 90% conversion
I
rate.
told her I was going to tell you that, like, every time, like, I'll have a ball game on, if I leave the room for an extended period of time, I'll come back and, like, it'll be on, like, some ghost story on, you know, on cable. Right. I tease her about that all the time, that that's what she watches all the time, you know, whatever. Like, she'll turn my ball game off or whatever, turn
I
some other shows
do
on.
not.
You know what's funny is I watch that stuff for two reasons. First, I want to see what new technology they're using, and second, so I know what not to do for you guys, because I know that that's all for ratings.
Yeah.
This is real life stuff.
Yeah.
Like this is. How
And of course,
I
I
go.
tease her about it all
Yeah,
the
of
time. I
course.
tease her about that and Bigfoot.
It's still
UFOs,
entertainment.
You know, and I always tell her, I'm always like, my big thing, my big skepticism is it's like, you know, it's like you watch a show for an hour and it's like there's like nothing comes out of it. Is the way I feel. You know what I mean? I feel like it's always like,
Yeah.
did y'all hear that? No,
No.
I didn't really hear that.
Where they give you that phrase of what they think they want you to hear.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's
They're playing it in your, yeah.
How you doing? Yeah, it's, and again, that's why I don't do the suggested thoughts on the spirit box, especially with places like, you know, hey, listen for names on the way to Lodge Alley. I'll tell you what names maybe I hear all the time
Yeah.
once we get there.
Yeah.
So again,
Yeah.
it's that preemptive. I'm not
Yeah.
going to do the suggested
Yeah.
thought.
Here's
Yeah.
something weird.
I tease her. I'm being open-minded tonight, but I do tease her about it.
I don't understand this.
The fact that it jumped.
No, it didn't jump.
Well, there's a gap in between it, so it did jump. So whatever's there, and that's the next fixture. Seems constant. That's the green spot. That makes sense. A green orb. You're getting it in multiple pictures.
Well, that's 8:30.
Go back again. Yeah, because see how it's moving down?
Right.
I'm looking at like his legs to make sure we're at the same level, make sure everything's steady. He's got a green orb moving down, and it's got like a big cloud around it.
Right there.
Yeah. I'm still looking at that green dot because that's what caught my eye. It's moving for sure.
Nick, did you say Philadelphia Alley?
Turn it.
That's good stuff. We'll take it. It's not as bright as the ones that I thought, but it's still green in color. I'm looking for
It's hard to do this and walk. That's okay.
I thought my thing went dead. It's like, damn.
Right.
Actually, this is a great picture spot down here. I heard.
Here you go.
So before we walk in there, that's a pretty popular ghost tour area. It's called So I'll give you guys the skinny of what's going on in there, but we have the tools to actually prove the story that they're telling.
Oh, okay.
So that's the reason, like, I'll get interrupted 15 times from everybody passing by.
Okay.
This place used to be called Dueler's Alley. It's now Philadelphia Alley, because once dueling became stupid and illegal, we had to name it something else. So that's why it's Philadelphia Alley. They say this one.
Is that St. Michael's? St. Philip's.
I always tell where you are by the place. So the story with this is that there was a doctor that moved down here from Rhode Island. His name was Dr. Joseph Brown. I want you to keep RI in mind because those initials will show up on his boxes. He's supposed to get married to his fiancee, Amanda. Amanda just had a bunch of money that she inherited from her parents. And the lawyer handling that money said, two of you aren't getting married, send the doctor over. So the doctor moved to Charleston. The coachman brings him into town, set him up to be robbed and killed. Somebody walking by saw what was going on. His name was Ralph Isaacs, the initials R.I., and he said, let me take you somewhere else. They took him over to 59 Church Street, where he was able to rent a room in a safe neighborhood. The two become friends, the doctor's practice starts to take off, things are going well, he's making lots of money, Amanda's going to be moving down soon. He becomes known as the Whistling Doctor. So if you Google Charleston Whistling Doctor, you'll read a very elaborate story. It's probably the same details the way that they're giving over there. I'm just giving you enough for the devices we have. So him and Ralph used to go see plays together, but the doctor made so much more money, so they had to sit in different seats because he's in a different part of society. So going to the movies and sit next to your friends because they make more money than you. It sucks. So they talk about this play on the way home. They go see Richard III. The doctor loves the new actress. Ralph does not. It's into an argument. It starts being an insult party on the doctor's fiancée about him. So now they're really angry at each other and go their separate ways. So how does this go down? Ralph is from Charleston. So he has ties. He puts a big ad in the paper where he disgraces the doctor as to the city of Charleston. He takes all the money, he's not from here, he's not one of us. The doctor rebuttals with, let's go to Dueler's Alley and settle this. Now, yeah, right? So the loser of the duel is normally what? Right?
Yeah, that's right.
There's a doorway, you can see it on the door wall over there, where the loser would be picked up, taken through that doorway, over the courtyard, over to St. Philip's Cemetery, and you drop the body, and then go celebrate the winner. That didn't happen. So they come down here, they take 20 paces, they turn, the doctor points his gun in the air, and shoots. He didn't want to kill his friend. Ralph takes 2 shots on the doctor below the knees, and he drops. Instead of taking him through the courtyard to the cemetery, they carry him home to 59 Church Street, where he dies 10 days later. So, they say as you walk over here, you can hear the name of the doctor. Then we have headphones, a lot. So they're going to give us the, here's your fake one for your audio. So if you're listening to this on your drive home, turn it up. You're going to hear a nice pink whistle in the background. I've only caught 2 that I was not able to debunk in a year and a half of doing these out. So, it might occur, it might not. It's more, by chance, more than likely not, but it's still a good chance it could. They also say you can have actions back. And my 4th of July teams, like, they both wanted to. The bricks we're going to walk on are going to get old. These up here are fresh to the year. Sharpness, smoother, more flat. When we get to the end, we have sun-dried bricks from slave kids. Literally sun-dried. Fingerprints, one full fingerprint. When we're there, we want pictures. We need to take it first. We have to be careful. It's on somebody's home. We don't disturb them. Theme here. Justice, law, and police. It's all about Bob. They're not even here. It's funny. And I think I had the word Robert come up before. I think I did. Hang on. I did. Robert? Law? Justice? Now I have something. That's now he's going to sit on the couch because he's going to retire. So, the handprint, when you look at it, guys, is the thumbprint is on the next brick. It's an overlay. So if you think about what actually happened there, a kid had to put that brick in wet, slide it in, and then slam his hand into it afterwards. Kind of like, screw you, I don't want to do this anymore. Because it's pretty deep. Like, it's unmistakable a hand. I'll start to point out the fingerprints when we get up to them. Obviously, we'll keep the spirit box when we get to that edge. Pretty low. Slave kids? No. And there's not going to be an activity near it because it's part of the reason people ask me, why aren't we going to cemeteries? Are you dead and you want to hang out with your same thing with this slave kid. He's not going to be hanging out where he was. He probably went back to his miserable little home where his family is. So if he hasn't got this crossover thing or whatever it is you believe. So again, I don't. Bob's Jewish, so I'm going to. The word Jew. Really?
Part 2.
They're going to be selling Bob guys, for sure. But yeah, we're going to cut through here when we get to close to the house and catch the spirit box. I'm going to try to stay away from the spirit box. I'm just going to have it on just so we have an extra spot. There you go. You okay?
Yeah, it's back in the shoulder.
Okay.
I walked this whole street.
Did you?
Yeah, must have passed you as you were coming in.
If we came in off of
I
that
went
alley that we
past
got.
here and back around.
Oh.
We were trying to get a hold of you while you were gone.
I thought
That's good.
Patty because I didn't know.
I just called you and you didn't answer the phone.
Oh, I got it turned off.
No, all right.
Oh, there
We're talking about the ghost
I have
again.
my
Hold
phone
it.
turned off on the tour.
So I told you earlier we had the word lock.
As I was going past all them people, I kept hearing pop.
Well, look.
So there's your name. And then we have
Law, justice,
law, justice.
police.
Is there a time?
I'm waiting for it. I got couch.
Couch where you're
Couch.
sitting
Couch
at.
duty, to be quite honest. You see it?
couch
Couch
is too
duty. He's on couch duty. He's retiring soon. So.
So
All
where's
right.
my little,
Your little gizmo?
she wanted to walk by her by herself. I couldn't. All she would have to do is hit pop over or something, call me.
Right.
So we're gonna go through that gate. We're gonna make a left. We'll
Okay.
walk through the alley, even the alley you've already seen.
Yeah, there's like 4 different
Yeah.
groups.
So
Yeah.
the laser is going to be kind of on hold for now. If you want to listen to that, kind of keep it low,
Okay.
especially when we're going through the tours.
Right.
Keep filming. Sorry, I got to remember who's got what.
Yep.
But again, I'll show you guys the fingerprint and handprint at the end from the slave kid.
You get tired?
Yeah, I wanted her to have a little fun. It might not work if it's a non-believer. We're operating it. Get behind her. Watch your step.
Watch the steps.
Thank you.
One of my favorite places in France.
Right, minimum of 10 points to protect you and that person to have.
You're the doctor whistling.
No. You could probably, Todd, why don't you shoot your laser down there?
He said not use it here.
Oh, not here? Oh, I thought you could on the ground maybe.
Where?
Look at. It went from blue to red.
You said you can do it as long as you don't do it in the windows.
Yeah.
There's houses down there.
Where you gonna do it?
Just try to keep it low.
72.5 right here.
Okay, never mind. Thank you. I don't think we're getting anything.
Shocker. No, shouldn't take it out. Mess up your phone. My thing is, I guess they're always supposed to be. They're not here. They're in heaven or they're in hell. You know what I'm saying? I have a hard time thinking about people being stuck somewhere here.
Here's one of those handprints he was talking about.
Oh, yeah.
What the slave kids had to make.
77, 78. Cool.
Me too.
Yeah.
Hey, Jill, you're going to get this handprint here?
Like it what?
We'll have to come here during the day. This one, handprints. These long ways of
I can see it.
Yeah, because these stones were, these bricks were handmade by the slave. That was a child.
What's the matter?
Still wants to get that picture of the handprint.
Let me see the handprint on this one. Right here. There's a handprint right there. Far in these houses. Oh, those for sale. It's like it's like what's for sale. What's for sale? What's for sale?
Guess we're probably behind, huh?
If you get tired, I'll take it back. It's just gonna be
Okay.
Are you getting anything?
Nothing.
Nothing? Oh, I'll show you what.
Yeah. Thank you.
Try to be a good Samaritan, help us through our time and walk ever since then. Two big problems.
One last building. So we're going to take a look at this Wagner building right here. So this used to be part of our cotton industry. Cotton warehouse in the back. Offices for that cotton warehouse were in the front. That faces East Bay Street. Again, peninsula skinnier. You can watch the water from the second and third story of that front of the building. So the last guy who owned it as a cotton warehouse, he inherited the business from his dad. His name is George Poirier. George, silver spoon kid, was clueless. Had no idea what he was doing to run a business. And got himself into a bunch of debt and blew through his inheritance pretty quickly. Snap him up. But anyway, so So we also have the boll weevil in town. So that's where I was. Boll weevil is a bug that eats cotton. Now his crop is screwed. He needs to get out of the cotton industry altogether. So instead of selling it to the Americans and keeping the bug here, he sells it to the British. So he watches the British ship roll in, they unload the warehouse by horse and buggy, those really cool garage doors you see back there, and he watches the whole thing. Once the ship is loaded, somebody gets too close to it with a pipe. The whole ship catches fire, everybody dies. George watches the whole thing. He's already depressed because his dad is gone. He doesn't have enough money to pay back his American debts with the British funds that he got, and now his father's legacy is gone. So what does he do? Piles up all the furniture, has his chair on top, climbs the pile of furniture, swings a noose, and he hangs himself. There's the newspaper kid that caught him the next day. So, not a very happy ending to our story, but I do get another ghost that tags along, where we came out of Philadelphia Alley from that way, 2 blocks up is Coogan's Porch. Zoe used to live there. Zoe, that was her home, it wasn't a restaurant. Her name was Zoe Saint Amand. She is of French descent. She lived there with her sister Elizabeth. The story goes that Zoe died in the house by falling down the stairs. We do get a lot of those type words. We get her name spelled properly, Z-O-E, that comes up on my box. We've heard stairs, we've heard restaurant. We've also heard words like spoon, fork, table, eat, anything wrapping around a restaurant. And we've also had the color yellow, which is the color of that house now. So, lots of things come out of that. They're both from the same time period, so it makes sense that both of them would hang around this neighborhood. So, what we're going to do... Oh, speaking of George, they say you can see the shadow of a swinging corpse from the 2nd-story window. Actually, your online stories tell you 3rd story, but all of my data says the number 2 or 2nd. We cannot see through windows with your camera. So what we're looking for is for that camera to actually turn a darker blue or black through 1 pane only. Maybe 2 if they're aligned properly, but that means something is influencing it from the inside. So I can't see that shadow, but we're also going to take lots of pictures if you can, and of that 2nd and 3rd story, and see if they brighten up. And normally when I have my...
building here?
Yeah, we're going to go to the front. And these in the back are condos right now. The front is empty because they're turning it into a wedding reception area.
Oh, okay.
So it's going to be 3 floors of wedding reception with a rooftop as well, and it'll be considered waterfront. So I don't know who the heck wants to get married in a cursed building, but good luck to them.
Right.
So, but yeah, we're going to check this place out. The EMF's going to go crazy on East Bay because of the parking meters. Lasers are pretty much out of the game, but we are going to test that other theory that I had earlier. I think I told you about it. You're not carrying, you have the gun. We're going to test your laser on the front of the building. At times, those stones I was telling you guys about earlier will be 30-degree difference. Seems that the breeze has died down. There's a peak in the front, just like this in the back, but it's covered in stone. 5 feet below it, there's the same type of stone inlaid into the brick. There's normally, should be a 7 to 12 degree difference, the top being cooler. If it's any more than 15 to 18 degrees, I get excited and I listen to the spirit box a little heavier in the morning. So it's kind of, again, another barometer of the building is colder than it should be.
Okay.
Let's see what we have. I've seen it go all the way up to a 30-degree difference in temperature, which is pretty nice.
Okay.
So, we're going to listen to your spirit box along the way and see what we capture on there once we get up there. I'm trying to call this graph so you guys can get that. George, so, George, cotton, shit, fire, dad, anything wrapped around money.
Okay, run that picture in here.
this very top stone. You see what I'm talking about? At the very peak of the building?
Yeah, above the arch.
Yep, and then you're going to do the arch. All the way up. Keep going, keep going. A little bit more.
The white.
Yep.
59.
Okay, now go to the arch.
60.
Only 10 degrees. So I was about right, 7 to 12 degrees. I did hear Zoe and understand. So I always give you guys audio markers to rewind by 5 seconds. So that way you guys can check it out for yourself. If you can get me a little bit of video from these two windows right here, just give me about 30 seconds to a minute, and we'll see what you actually see. If not anything, then I will, what's that? So it was these two windows here, and some of the concierges around town were telling me around that rounded edge. Yeah, that's real. You're going to have the crosswalk. It's going to be perfect here. All the electrical lines are running off the street. So that's why that goes off there. I'll take the thermometer. We've already tested that. Did I convince you yet, or you need to see the evidence?
Not yet.
Not yet? Fair enough. There'll be evidence in the morning. You're going to be texting me going, holy crap.
Okay.
Bob, I'll take your crazy laser. Thank you, sir. Sorry you guys missed part of the tour.
Oh, that's okay.
We'll let the spirit box run for a few minutes. You got some good footage of that second story, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Are we still all on one video? You're not. Oh, that's why you probably had to tap the video again, didn't you? That's why you passed it off.
No, it recorded the whole time.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, I'll double check.
Yeah. I was making sure she did.
That's funny. So those windows should move in unison in shades of blue. So
Yeah.
in case they don't, and one stays put and it stays dark, it's obviously a much colder area than the rest.
Yeah.
That's what I'm looking for on those videos. I'll take your EMF too. Looks like she's having a whole conversation down there. Let's get her back. So what did you hear? There'll be markers on there. I want to get like 5 seconds. You just look like you're having a whole conversation.
Pictures are what sell me. Picture. Captured something that you know wasn't there, and it showed what was there. Got a maid going up the steps of the one plantation. The guy say face through the brick. I've got
From here? From Charleston?
all my good people from Charleston.
Really?
Yes. One actually, the guy I used to sit next to at the office had a little bad temper. Actually, he's still there. We're both managers now. We don't sit next to each other, but he was driving me nuts. So what I did is I turned my monitor a little bit and I put the thumb drive in that had that picture of the man's face going through the brick. I put it to my desktop. He gets it out of the office. He could. He wouldn't come back and change it.
I wanted to kill myself. Did you hear that?
That's pretty sad.
That's crazy. He's not convinced yet. And he just missed a good one.
George, can you give us a validation that you are here in some way? George, can you validate that you are here?
It just said before you came over, I want to kill myself.
Yeah.
It was a song lyric, but it was there.
It was there.
All right, let's wrap this one
Okay.
up. Thank you for taking care of it. You
Okay.
recorded the whole time. Awesome.
All right.
We'll take your camera from you.
There you go.
Interesting.
Great job.